him use the live stream, folks. Give him something.
All right.
There we go.
Nonprofit leaders tend to be incredibly stressed out people. And it's really hard to be an inspirational and supportive boss and leader when you're stressed out and overwhelmed all the time. When I started my first nonprofit role, I always felt like I was falling behind. So I would take my work home with me, and I'd work my way through the night. The problem was, I'd get to work the next day, and I wouldn't just have a normal flow of emails coming in. I would have the responses to the 30 or 40 emails I'd sent the night before, flooding in on top of that. I'd get overwhelmed, I'd take it home again, and so on. And so I wasn't spending much time with my family, and when I was spending time with them, I was a total grump. It was like I was playing racquetball by myself, hitting the ball way too hard, and then getting mad at the ball for coming back too fast and hitting me in the face. Not a good look. Because when we're overwhelmed, we lead through fear. And leading through fear means we perceive everything like a threat. So we treat everything like a threat, including people. And people can feel it when they're treated like threats. There's no ability to have a trusting relationship, show vulnerability, or build sort of long-term teams. And so you end up with bitterness, you end up with gossip, divisiveness, high turnover, and you end up with an organization that isn't having a positive community impact, which is what we're all about. But we shouldn't blame ourselves if we find ourselves leading through fear, because all of us on some level have been conditioned to do it. In some form or another, all of us have been conditioned to associate accomplishing things with receiving love. Earn an A, receive some love. Get into a good school, receive some love. Behave yourself, just the way I told you, receive some love. And the stronger that association is, the more likely it is that we actually become accomplishment addicts. And an accomplishment addict is addicted to achieving things in a bid for external validation. And meanwhile, we don't have a chance to actually build up what it means to internally validate ourselves. So we're reliant on what other people think and say, what the annual report says, how the grants do, etc. And at that point, the scariest thing is to fail, because your entire sense of happiness is built on external achievements. And so failure is the scariest thing, because it feels like love and safety are actually going away. And so how do we shift that paradigm from a fear-based approach, where we're basing our sense of self-worth on the external, to a love-based approach, where we're basing it on our own internal values? We have to start by actually loving ourselves, which is a weird and scary idea if you've never thought about that or heard about that or tried it. And so how do you do it? How do you start? About a few years ago, I discovered that for me, it started with actually identifying my thoughts and my beliefs and trying to sort through which ones still served me, which ones were helpful, and which ones I wanted to get rid of, and actually soften myself to be open to change. And so pretty quickly, I changed the belief that I needed to answer every email right away. For some reason, I had developed the belief that a workout only counts if it's 40 minutes of cardio or more. So I hadn't worked out in about 3 years. I changed that belief. And now I believe that a 5-minute workout counts. So I've been working out 5 to 10 minutes a day for the last couple of years. I used to believe that healthy food tasted terrible in general. I changed that belief. Now I eat healthier. I used to believe that I had to hold on to all of my material possessions until the day I died, and then pass them all on to my kids. I changed that belief, and I've embraced minimalism. So by decluttering my space, I've been able to declutter my mind, and it's made me a clearer thinker and a clearer leader. I used to write off meditation as a waste of time, but I've been doing that every day, and it's changed my life. And it's actually helped me to see that things like social media and scary movies were really negative inputs that I hadn't identified through all the other noise. So I was able to identify that and cut those out as well. So it's like one thing leads to the next, to the next, to the next, but it starts with identifying our beliefs and being willing to change. And so now at this point, I find myself to be a more centered, more grounded, more effective leader, husband, father, friend. And in the nonprofit sector, we ask people to change all the time. Change your habits, change your addictions, change your relationships, change your career. But when's the last time you asked yourself to change? So the next time you experience stress or feeling overwhelmed, actually welcome it as an invitation to inquire within yourself and ask yourself, what belief or thought am I holding on to that's keeping me stuck here? And can I learn how to love myself enough to be willing to change those beliefs? Because learning how to love yourself doesn't just make you a better leader, it's actually what makes life worth living. Thank you.
Mm.